don't want to do an Alex and
Yeah.
get too angry about this. But
I like it.
What is morally wrong is to exclude millions of people from the workforce who cannot go into a factory from work because they can't be there. That's what's morally wrong.
There's a couple of things I wouldn't want to get your opinion on, which I've just jotted down as we were speaking. First one, Elon Musk's sort of take on getting people back into the office, going back to that briefly, was...
I thought you were going to say Elon Musk's take on AI.
Well,
yes.
we can go on to AI.
We disagree with Elon Musk on lots of things.
Yeah.
AI is one of them, and or AI completely taking over the workforce is one of them. But also, so is going back to the office. But I think for Elon Musk, it's not just about him going back to the office, him advocating that. It's also about the culture that he's building.
Yeah.
And I think that actually often it isn't about office or hybrid or anchor days. Amazing organizations with empowered people insist they come into the office 1-2 days a week. But I think it's about how you do it and the culture that you create around it.
His take was like it's morally wrong for people that could work from anywhere to work from anywhere when actually there's people in his factories that have to be there, have to physically be there to like make the widgets or produce the things that the people from home are gonna enjoy and consume. And sounds like you disagree with that.
What is morally wrong? And again, don't want to do an Alex and get too angry about this. But
I like it.
What is morally wrong is to exclude millions of people from the workforce who cannot go into a factory from work because they can't be there. That's what's morally wrong. Is to say that a system of work that was created more than 200 years ago must universally apply to everyone, because by definition, some of those jobs are place-based jobs. And I just cannot get my head around why it would be morally wrong to adapt work in order to include some of those excluded people. And I'll give an example. 77% of people with autism want to work, but only 26% do. That is a 51% gap. And many of those skills are needed in the workforce, but because of the way work happens, are not engaging in work. So, particularly the moral question, I would say fairly strong disagreement with Elon about that.
Yeah. I think a big part of that whole stance, and we've seen it from a few leaders of organizations mandating the return to office, is largely about the power dynamic that's emerging between worker and employer, which is worker wants more power, employer doesn't want to cede any power, and so will seek to mandate or assert their power through that kind of control. And those workers who are happy with that will stay. And I think you'll find that it's the brands that think of themselves as the most attractive employers on the planet who will seek to assert that power the most. They think of themselves as bigger than the worker or workers, and therefore should be in control. But that power dynamic is at the heart of this. And I think that's one of the things that we felt acutely when we started Hoxby, was we're ceding a lot of perceived power by allowing everybody to decide when and where they work for themselves. We're trusting that they're going to do amazing work by doing that. And we, as the leaders, have to be comfortable with that, with not retaining that. And I think it goes without saying that we believe that was the right decision in terms of everything that we've heard from the people who've worked in Hoxby and worked in a Workstyle way, but also from the way that Hoxby has performed over the years. We believe not only that it's been better for people and for their well-being, it's also been better for the business, as well as being better for society with inclusion. So leaders of organizations and brands who want to play a positive part in shaping the future of work and the future of society have to be comfortable with ceding some of that power, giving people more autonomy to decide things for themselves if they're going to evolve with work the way that we believe it's going to go.
I mean, I've certainly seen more and more organisations that I work with that are just completely remote from the start, and they're small startups, and challenging some big pharmaceutical brands that are a bit more, like you say, think that they're attracting the best talent. Actually, the best talent if doesn't want to work in the office 2 days a week or whatever, and they've got access to more talent globally. So I've seen more and more companies that have got like UK, Portugal, South Africa employees across the same time zone.
And actually,
they started up that way.
As part of our HR consulting, we speak to startups and scale-ups that say to us, it used to be flexible working, then it was remote working, and now we need the next thing, because remote working is no longer enough to differentiate ourselves in attracting top talent, but Workstyle is. So I think that's where autonomous working is going. It's going to be the marker of an organization in terms of how much empowerment and trust you place in your workforce, and therefore you're going to attract better talent as a result.
I'm Gavin Jones, founder and director at MeeTime, where we help organisations work more efficiently, happening to use Microsoft 365 to do it. If you want to know what Microsoft can unlock for your business, then check out one of the links in the description below. Just conscious of time, lastly, just we touched on it briefly into AI, and I like that I've managed to poke you both enough that you got a bit rolled up and a bit passionate. Maybe I'll do the same thing. I guess with Hoxby, starting out as a creative agency, and some of the already amazing things that AI can do by just saying, make me a picture of blah blah blah, or make me a video, and some of the AI videos are not great. So hopefully I've still got some of my YouTube videos still get some watches rather than someone recreating me in 3D with some text prompts. But I don't know if have you just interested on your take of whether some of the things you've seen in AI are likely to replace some of the things that people would come to Hoxby for, or actually whether there's more need for someone that's specializing in design, whatever that can use AI themselves to sort of make themselves more employable, useful, valuable, whatever the right word is.
I think the first thing to say is that Elon Musk is not correct according to the current data that AI will replace all our jobs. That just is not, the data just doesn't substantiate that. And I think that there are two kind of things for us to consider. So one is that jobs in themselves are inherently diverse. So whilst there may be elements of them that can be replaced by AI, it's highly unlikely that whole jobs in their entirety will simply disappear. And certainly whole people's ability to work won't, because people are multifaceted, multi-skilled. And so whilst some tasks may be automated, the fact is that the overall composition of jobs will change rather than simply reducing the number of jobs. I think the other thing is, and I think that applies to Hoxby, which is we are a tech-based business. We don't build tech, but we only exist because of advances in collaborative software and communications tools. But I think the other thing is the way you bring people together will continue to be a source of competitive advantage. So like Alex talked about in terms of collective intelligence. And so I think codifying that, so we've been doing that ever since we started. We curate teams and we bring together diverse thinkers in order to provide refreshing work to our clients. That will become more and more important for any organization, because if you only do what an automated tool or an AI bot can do, there's no originality there. There's no extra value in what you're bringing. And so I think actually, what we can take from it is about understanding ourselves as individuals, what are our multiple skills, and also understanding how to bring people together in order to produce something that is uniquely brilliant in a way that only human minds can create it. So I think for us, it's more about evolving and growing the business alongside technology. And we've always had the mindset of embrace technology and use it to evolve and grow. rather than kind of running scared that we won't exist anymore because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a big proponent of, I've said it many times on videos, and I'll say it again, that I had a good lecturer when I first came out of uni and did accounting, that was like, said, always try and work yourself out of a job and you'll never be without a job. So even back in like 2003, I was playing around with Excel, trying to make my job quicker and quicker and quicker, and you can take more and more on, and you then free up your brain to actually do something a bit more valuable than churning stuff out. So I think AI will just accelerate that and make that a bit more accessible, like you say, rather than replacing entire jobs.
I think the AI question, just to add to that, is a bit like the work style and way of working question, which is, we've got this opportunity. What are we going to do with it? Are we going to continue to use AI to develop avatars of ourselves, or are we going to start using AI to solve the bigger problems that we face as a species? And are we going to use AI to create work that's inclusive for people with physical disabilities who can't get to offices or factories? Our decisions that we make in how we choose to shape the way people work, or how we choose to develop artificial intelligence, really need to be grounded in furthering good for our species. And if we do that, then we shouldn't be afraid of what AI can do for us, but actually excited about the potential for what it might be able to help us achieve. There's a great example of a tech cafe in Japan that is manned or staffed by robots on site. Those robots are controlled by people at home who are physically disabled. And the entire restaurant service team is made up of those people. And it's just inspirational. That's the kind of innovation that I think we should be excited about and looking to invest into and be thinking about when it comes to technology.
Yeah, awesome. Is there anything else that we've not spoken about that you want to mention before we stop?
I think the one thing that we would challenge your listeners to do is to use the word Workstyle to someone in a conversation, or to the cat or the dog, because we came up with the word Workstyle to symbolise not just a change in the system of work, but a change in an attitude to work. And so the more people can just start doing that and start talking about how they want to work and bringing themselves as whole humans to work, the better. And if they also want to, then do read the book, get it from the library, or go and buy it from your local bookshop.
Yeah. And come and join the Workstyle revolution, because this is happening. There is a group of people on Slack right now who are fitting their work around their life with their own work styles. They are doing it. If you're not already doing it, why not? Come and join in, get your own work style, and start changing the future of work. Because if we don't do it now, who will? Get involved.
And I think, Alex, that's workstylerevolution.com/join.
Right on cue. Absolutely right. Thanks very much for having us, Gavin. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No worries. Thank you very much both for being on.